My name is Rahul Neel. I am the editor of Dynamics ISO, and today we are going to speak to one of the very senior and seasoned cybersecurity expert, Murtaza Bhatia, who is also the head of vertical solutions at NTT Limited India. But before I speak to him, let me just give you a small background to this conversation. Since we are passing through a very unprecedented time, which is a nationwide lockdown, it is exceptional, it is unprecedented, and we all sincerely hope that each one of us abides by it and as a national duty for the good of humanity. However, as it is said, the show must go on. Among many other things that this nationwide lockdown has forced upon us, there are a few important things that are facing the business. One of them is, of course, business continuity. The second one is enabling a huge and large remote workforce. And the third one is ensuring that the data and the critical information assets are being properly taken care of and are safeguarded. Taking advantage of the COVID panic and the fear, the threat actors have actually begun applying new and unique ways to attack businesses and attack the data. To talk about some of these things, I would now like to welcome Murtaza Bhatia. Welcome, Murtaza.
Hey, welcome. Thank you, Rahul. I think it's always a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks for being on this show, on this interview. So I would like to begin by asking a few very generic questions. The outbreak of COVID-19 has wreaked havoc and caused a threat all humans need to be mindful of, which also includes the security practitioners. So what are the security implications that you see of this outbreak?
So because of this outbreak, Rahul, the implication is everywhere. It has impacted human life, it has changed the way of life, and so it has changed the way how IT is supporting business to deliver what is required for business, right? The entire delivery model has changed. What was confined in terms of services that are being delivered from the data center to the end users and end devices confined within the boundaries of the organization has gone beyond now, right? To continue the business, keep the business in business, we will have to now allow the services to expand beyond the organizational perimeter boundaries, and a lot of induction of personal devices, be it laptop, tablets, mobile phones, from outside the organization boundaries, especially from home. There is a huge influx of work from home across the globe that is happening. And that has increased the entire landscape. That has changed the IT, the way application and data is being delivered to the end user, be it as an internal corporate user or an external customer or a client, right? The data that is being delivered is flowing through an unsecure or a public network, you can say, and is going to an unsecure or a personal devices that the users are using. So that has created a huge implication in terms of security. The entire visibility aspects and the control aspects that we had on the network and the end user devices is changed now. Is changed. The way the users are connecting is changed. The way the users are using the information is changed. The way the user wants the information now to do the productive business activities also change. So that in this entire IT landscape changing, obviously the security threat landscape has changed. Over and above this, the bad guys, are looking at this to their advantage, right? Because there is less amount of control that is envisaged in this influx of new devices that is coming onto the network. So there is a huge implication in terms of cybersecurity, and I would urge all the cybersecurity practitioners to be more vigilant and more responsive in these kind of scenarios than before.
Excellent. I think you covered a lot of a very wide spectrum of took care of the entire situation and gave a very comprehensive answer to this. However, interesting scenarios are developing out of this, which are creating distress among the minds of the CISOs. So what do you think are the unique cybersecurity challenges that have emerged due to this situation since the outbreak was first recorded in the month of January till now?
So it's from January till now. Now you see, we need to first understand that what is changing, right? So there are three aspects of change. If I want to, consolidate all these changes into three aspects, right? First of all, to have people or to have people be productive from wherever they are, you need to lift the boundaries, security boundaries that we have created around the services that are being delivered from the data center. So for an example, the corporate business application which is being accessed from internal networks are now supposed to be accessed from external networks too. Right? So the boundaries of security controls that we have put around the application, especially the corporate or the business apps, right, is to be lifted off. Otherwise, you will not be able to connect from outside to these business application and do the productive transactions which are required, right? So the application has to be now available outside. Right, the network and the security around the network that was created earlier is now changed. Right, no more people are connecting through the secure networks because the planning on the external VPN connectivity has also blasted. Generally, we plan to have 20%, 30% of the organization working from outside, and those VPN head-in gateways are planned to take the capacity of 20%, 30% of the entire organization load. But now it has to take a load of the entire organization, which is 80 to 100%, right? That's how people will be productive in the business, and that is not sufficient enough to take. So there is a scale and a requirement there that we see. So the network has changed, right? And we need to put up a solution around that so that we can use public transport, but that transfer of data on the public transport has to be encrypted and secure. Plus also we see the end user and end devices, the behavior that end user exhibits while using his personal laptops or a personal tablets and a personal mobile versus the behavior that he exhibits when he is using a corporate on lockdown devices. How do we keep a tab between it? How do we have a visibility on personal device that a user is using to do a business transaction, a corporate business transaction over it? So if we put all these in these three sectors, we see there is a change in required in terms of how we control application and how we have visibility over the application, how we control the network, how we have visibility over the network, and how we control the end user and the visibility on the end user is required to be done. So work has to be done in terms of changing the solution or tweaking, I would say tweaking the solution to have control as well as the visibility. A visibility requirement is a little bit more than you have it on your corporate case or a controlled environment.
I agree, and interestingly, however prepared the businesses and corporations were, this situation has actually caught most of us off guard, and in such situations where the clients must have actually called you in distress, and I believe a lot of critical networks rely on entities' large infrastructure. So what was the initial guidance of NTT, and how did you empathetically took care of those customer requirements?
So that was a huge request that were coming in from us. Being a global system integrator, we support clients all across the globe, and since this is a global pandemic, there is a huge amount of support requirements that came to us, right, in this aspect. And to be fair, we could handle it in a fair manner, if not to the topmost readiness of it, because nobody knew that this is coming in. And our model helped a lot in terms, our support model helped us a lot in terms of addressing this to our clients. So what we did was we went to the client back. We understand that what they have currently. This is how we do. It's not about doing more business with the client, but understand what client already has and how do we reconfigure, re-architect that in order to support the existing scenarios that have. So we understand what they had. We created definite use cases in terms of what is required to keep the business up and running, what is required to be more productive, what is their productivity requirement to keep the business running, and how we can tune the existing solutions rather than bringing in the influx of new solutions where the client has to go through the procurement process and stuff like that. So that was the first thing we did. We did the assessments of, quick assessment, right? What the client has and how we can reuse that or re-architect that or reconfigure that to achieve the maximum out of the existing investment that the client has done. Secondly, how do we support them in terms of quick turnarounds of what extra they will need to do? So, for example, if we need to put up a two-factor authentication over a single-factor authentication they have, so how we can create those solutions which can be bare minimum requirement, which can be deployed in no time, which doesn't need the lead times to bring in and integrate within the ecosystem. So, what are those quick solutions that we can bring in which can augment the security requirements or the change in the security requirement that came up because of this change in the landscape that we see? So we brought in those solutions. We create packages of those solutions. So we create packages of solutions where you can have secure connectivity or enhancement in security of the existing connectivity that you have. We bring in packages that helps to bring in remote working environment. So how do you have the on-prem environment streamed at home in a secure manner so that the user is as productive as he was when he was sitting on his office desk, when he's sitting at home? So how do we secure data? How do we secure the channel of streaming that we have established for them? And all this, how do we bring in a software defined, a cloud enabled model which we can provision it fast, we can deploy it faster to do this. So we created a package programmed around it. We call it as crisis advisory and response for enterprises. We create this package. We took these packages to all of our key clients and help them in the areas of communication, teaming, collaboration, help them in the area of connectivity, security in terms of making people to work from outside, help them in securing the application and publishing those critical business applications on the public infrastructure securely to keep the business running, and also help them in addressing or doing the messaging and communication across global organizations in a way, and video meetings or video messaging across these tough times that central management of an organization would want to do to their employees. So bring those solutions in this package. We call it as entity care package, and we are working in India and across globe with multiple clients on this.
Thank you for describing the entity care perspective. I think this was very valuable. One of my last questions to you is, we all have, as security practitioners, we all have taken vital lessons in the past 15-20 days that we have been working under a lockdown. So from an entity's point of view, from a security practitioner's point of view, what would be your key messaging for the enterprises which they can seek benefit from during such crises and such situations?
So the key message to the enterprises would be twofold, right? One is for a security practitioner or from a deliverable from security operations center in this pandemic situation where the SOC people cannot reach SOC also, right? Because there is lockdown, you can't go to your SOC facility and use your tool sets, right, to monitor it. So because of this chain landscape, the monitoring requirement is much higher. And the response has to be much nimble and faster in terms of incidents that you see happening all around. As we already spoke, right, bad actors are using this as an opportunity because there are personal devices and compromising the personal devices which are not logged properly, which doesn't have security control. Proper security control is much more easier. So two aspects, right? One is have a better visibility and have a swift and nimble response, and all this can happen through change in automation and integration that you have currently available in your SOC environment, right? So the request would be that do more and more automated responses. It would help you respond much faster and reconfigure your visibility aspects that you have from the security operations center to a bigger and a better visibility aspect, because you need to be more watchful in these kind of scenarios to that. So reconfiguring the tool set that you have in security operations center to get a bigger visibility and automation in response would be the prime two factor which security practitioners should look into in these current times.
Excellent response. Increase your visibility and automate your response. I think that's the fundamental principle that each and every security practitioner should be following in these times. Thank you very much, Murtaza, for talking to Dynamics CISO. Have a safe time.
Thank you. And I would want to put up a message that please stay safe, please stay indoor, because these two things would help us overcome these challenges that we are facing currently. Thank you very much.
Indeed, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.